Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and today we're going to be discussing and breaking down the exact step that you're going to need in order to pass your CDL road test. Now the CDL road test is going to be a big portion of you actually getting your CDL license. If you're not aware, to get a CDL license is mainly two main steps. Step number one, get yourself a CDL permit. And then step number two, pass the 2.5 hour long road test. That's what we're going to describe to you in detail in this video right over here. So the road test itself is going to be either done at a third-party testing site. So some of our locations actually are qualified to be a third-party testing site, and other schools do not qualify for a third-party testing site, which means you have to go to a DMV. Whether you go to a DMV or a third-party testing site, everything's exactly the same, no big deal, and let's get right into it. So there's going to be three main steps. Part one is going to be inspection. Part two is going to be parking, and part three is going to be driving on the road itself. So let's break down part number one. This is going to be the first portion of the road test itself. This is where you have to inspect the vehicle. You're going to have to inspect both the inside and outside of the vehicle. The inside inspection is called the air brake test. The other thing that you can hear this called is going to be a cab check engine start. And then here you're going to have to check things like making sure that the air brakes the system is working correctly, you're not having any crazy leaks, and checking the interior of the vehicle itself. If you need more details on this, we have a bunch of videos on YouTube that go into this in extreme detail. Make sure you check it out and subscribe for more. The next thing is going to be a pre-trip inspection. This is going to be an outside inspection that can take about an hour to complete. Here you're going to have to inspect anywhere from 50 to 90 items on the truck itself, and you're going to have to know them word for word. It's not just because you know, okay, this is my alternator or this is my coolant level. That's not enough. You're going to have to really get in detail with exactly what the state wants to hear, that you understand what the truck is all about, right? So how to inspect the tire, how to inspect the coolants, how to inspect everything that's important in making sure that the truck is safely ready to operate the vehicle itself, right? From here, there's only two options. You can either pass or you can fail. And unfortunately, if you fail this portion of the test, your test is done. Time to go home and reschedule. Now, if you do pass, congratulations, you get to move on to part two, which is parking. Parking is going to be done right over here on this diagram. Now, I know this seems kind of complicated, but let's break it down for you. There's going to be four main parking maneuvers that have to be done on this pad right over here. We're going to pretend that this is going to be our truck. First maneuver is going to be called a front bumper stop. So what does that mean? That means you're going to start off here. You're going to pull up, and your front bumper has to stop in between these two cones right over there. It seems kind of easy, but when you get inside the actual tractor, trailer, or bus, it's a lot harder to kind of see where you're at. From there, you're going to pull up straight, and then you're going to back up straight 100 feet without touching any of the lines. If you do, that means you could potentially fail this portion of the test, and we don't want that to happen. Now, from there, assuming you did that correctly, the third maneuver is going to be a forward offset, which means you're going to be pulling up, coming around this way into these cones, and as you're pulling up, your back tires has to cross this line right over here. If you don't do that, it's not going to be good for you. And then assuming you did everything well up until now becomes the hardest part of the actual test itself, which is going to be almost like a parallel parking. So you have to back this truck right back where you found it and make sure that the back bumper is in between these back two lines right over there. Now all those four maneuvers put together is the parking maneuvers of the test. Now from there, you're going to have to make sure that you fully understand the directions of the examiner. We understand when we give tests to our own students, we see, okay, people are nervous, they're not really paying attention. So one of the tips and tricks for this is make sure you fully understand what's going on. As an example, one of the silliest ways that you can fail is, for instance, saying, oh, I'm going to back up straight. And they're going to say, okay, it's time to back up straight. Make sure that the front of the tractor is behind the last line itself. So then you're nervous, you're not really listening. And what has happened in the past is the student will start backing up and then they'll stop right here. And they think that they have to line up their back bumper with the back line itself. And then once the student says, okay, I'm done, the examiner has to come in and says, you didn't listen to directions and I'm going to have to fail you. And this is one of the most painful things an examiner can do, because we want to see people succeed, but unfortunately we have laws that we have to uphold to. So the way it's going to work is the examiner is going to give you the exact details. He's going to show you a diagram, tell you exactly what's going on, and then he's going to ask you if you have any questions. And if you have no questions, they're just going to say, okay, move forward. But if you're not 100% clear on anything that happens in this step of the game right over here, please, I beg you, please ask questions. Be clear so you're not going to make silly mistakes like this. Now, assuming that you went to the best truck driving school around, which is Driving Academy, and you listened while you were here, which means you studied your pre-trip inspection, you were in our parking maneuver yard to actually learn all the different parking maneuvers, you used your get out and looks, you did all of that stuff. The next step is going to be driving on the road. Now, this is the most fun part for most students, and it's probably the easiest part of the entire road test. Now, the reason why it's easy, pretty much you're just driving on the road from like 20 to 30 minutes on the road test itself, depending on where you're taking the test. Now, pretty much all they're going to be checking is for two main things. One is going to be, are you a safe driver? Does that mean you're going to be running over curbs? Are you going to make sure you're checking the speed limits? Are you going to be stopping at all the proper stop signs? All the general safety things that you have to do, right? And then the next thing is going to be, if you choose to take the test in a manual transmission, can you actually shift properly? That's a big part of the test. Because now, I'm not sure if you're aware or not, there's actually an automatic restriction on your license, which means if you take the test in an automatic truck, you cannot drive any manual transmissions moving forward. However, if you take the test in a manual transmission truck, then we can actually get you to drive any vehicle once you actually get your license. Now, a lot of people are afraid of manual transmissions, and rightfully so. It is something new, it's a new skill, and it's not easy to accomplish. But one of the things that we do here at Driving Academy better than most is going to be have our simulation training. So this is an example of what our simulators look like, and this gives our students the comfortability and the training that they need on how to shift before we put them on the real truck on the real road itself. So it makes this road portion even easier. Some of the big no-nos to do on the road itself are going to be things like running over curbs, passing through stop signs, not stopping at red lights, speeding, and a few other things, making sure you're using your turn signals correctly. Any one of those major mistakes or hiccups can cause you to fail completely on that portion of the test itself, right? So, as a recap, 3 portions of the test. You're going to have inspection, which is going to be air brake and pre-trip inspection, inside and outside. You're going to have parking, the 4 different parking maneuvers that we discovered here. And then you're going to have driving on the road. And then there's things on here that you want to make sure that you're avoiding because you could potentially fail. Now, if you do fail one portion of the test, say for instance you passed inspection and failed parking, when you come back, as long as your permit has not expired, and depending on what your state laws look like, all you have to do is, you don't have to do the inspection portion again, you can just do the parking and the road. Same thing here. Say you pass inspection, pass parking, and you failed on the road. The good news is, for most states around the country, as long as your permit does not expire again and you don't run out of turns, at that point you can just come back and just do the road portion just by itself as well. So that's one of the cool perks of actually making sure that you're going through the process. But I do beg you, do not just say, hey, I'm just going to go in to pass the inspection only, because all that's going to do is going to delay the entire process. Depending on where you're going to go, it could take about 6 to 8 weeks to actually get scheduled for a test. One of the benefits here at Driving Academy is we have our own third-party testing site. So on average, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to actually get scheduled for your next road test. But the goal is to make sure that you pass the first time. And we understand that people are bad test takers. That's why we created guaranteed training courses. And pretty much what those offer is going to give you over 100 hours of training plus unlimited tries at the test itself. So I think the record that we have is like a 13 try. So a guy actually took like 13 different tries to pass the test. He did wind up passing the test after 13 try. Now, of course, we did all the training that we could, but he was just super nervous on the test, and it took him so long to actually get comfortable. So if that's somebody like you, the good thing about him is he just paid one price and he kept going until he passed at no extra cost to him. So it made it super simple and made it super easy for him to do that as well. We also offer payment plans available. So $500 down is all you need to get started. We're open up 7 days a week. So that means we could work around any kind of training schedule that you truly need and want. So if you want more information, if you want to find a location near you, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Let's get you to pass this entire road test to get you on the road to freedom, because our mission as a company is to get 1 million people on the road to freedom. And what's more free than driving where you want to go and making more money while you're doing it? So find a location near you, cdldrivingacademy.com. If there's no location near you yet, check out our Linden facility. We're definitely here to help you out. No, it does not matter where you're coming from nationwide. Thanks, I'll see you soon. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.